Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are back to the Louis and George podcast.
I'm Louis,
I'm George.
and we are back.
Cheers.
Cheers to the return.
So many things have happened. He's back. We can finally endorse him without any problem.
Everybody knows. Anyway, a couple things have happened since last we left. I don't know, somebody got shot in the ear, some stuff happened, and now Trump is back.
Trump is back, and we're fucked. Are you ready to stop having free healthcare because we finally have to buy our weapons by ourselves?
Ah, crap. So now we're going to have to fight Putin on our own. Is that where you're going?
Yeah, directly.
Okay.
Well, today, we're recording, which day is today? The
10?
12th, 11th,
10?
whatever.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance said that if the EU does something about X, the platform that Elon Musk owns,
Twitter?
they will withdraw from NATO and stuff like this. And I think they're going to start playing the NATO card
Over and over.
every time. And
That is such a bluff. Come on. That is such
it's
a
not
bluff.
a bluff.
It
But
is.
as
NATO, they need NATO as much as we need NATO. You could say we need it more, fair, but they need it too. Who are they going to sell their guns to and their airplanes?
we'll see.
That's the
Well,
thing.
Trump says that we have stupid leaders, so let's see how intelligent they are. Will be interesting.
I think J.D. Vance was playing the I'm a nice guy card during this whole months before. He was very rational, very tamed in all these interviews, and now suddenly he's bringing out the beast. Is that it? Or
No, he was rational only during the debate. By the way, during the debate, I was in Florida, guys. I went in all this time, even went to the States, came back.
So George chose to visit Florida in a very, very special moment. Are your socks still wet?
No, but Hurricane Milton, we survived. Pretty good experience to go in Florida during hurricane season.
How was that, by the way?
was normal for me. I mean, the people that live there are more affected because, I mean, they have their houses there, their cars there. But everybody was super, super friendly. And our hotel, the last days, was full of people who had to evacuate from the Tampa Bay area. But other than that, people are super friendly, and I love how Americans face these difficulties because there was nobody desperate, nobody crying. Everybody was like, well, whatever, what we can do about it, it's nature, we're gonna rebuild, we're gonna fix it. In Europe, we will be such pussies, we'll be like, oh my God, my whole life was there, blah, blah, blah. And so they were very, very friendly. I even tweeted through our Louis and George podcast account while I was there to ask people what I'm supposed to do because, they explain what you're supposed to do if you live there, but what if I'm a tourist?
Go to the third floor of wherever you are at.
No, but people answered on Twitter and they were on X, formerly Twitter. And so it was pretty good.
I'm going to keep calling it Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just feels weird to call it X.
I think it's so ironic because they call that dead naming. You know what is dead naming?
No.
Dead naming is if you're a transgender person and let's say now you're Luis, but in 3 years you're going to be Luisa. If I call you Luis, it's dead naming because it's your dead personality.
Okay.
So liberals are saying, I was listening to this crazy ass liberal Times radio show or whatever. They're like, Twitter, I'm sorry for dead naming Twitter. I'm like,
Louis is dead. Louisa reigns now.
But I think it's so funny because it's like Musk, it's the most anti-transgender person ever. And they say like, oh, sorry for dead naming your platform. So I didn't know if they were serious or if they
piss
were...
him off a little bit. Yeah. He joined the whole Trump wagon, and I'm sure he has his reasons. I tend to mistrust his agenda because I think he's deep down with an economical agenda.
Well, he
can get
he spent 140 million.
The 40, okay.
And he made 300 billion. No, his wealth now is 300 billion. And then only in the last few days since Trump was elected, he did 30 billion or something. So it's pretty good investment.
Yes.
And he was giving also the 1 million tombola. Did you hear about it?
Yeah, for people to
register and vote for Trump, and he would extract $1 million. And I'm like, where are American authorities? That's pretty illegal. Like,
I mean, The Republicans were all this about election interference from the big tech companies, because in the last election there was this huge mess, which is true, by the way, about the Hunter Biden laptop, how they suppressed this news story. It didn't come up in Facebook and other social media platforms. And the Trump people were, and I agree on this, angry that this is election interference. How is this shit not election interference as well?
They don't care if it's their own guy.
It's typical. It's football. In the end, politics is like sports. If your team is doing it, you're like, it's contact sports. If the other team is doing it, motherfucker, this is a foul, out of the field. There's this bias, and if it's your people, you're blind eye.
Yeah, so it was interesting. So let's go through the whole time frame that we've missed.
Recap.
So nowadays, I have the feeling we live like a dog life, because in 3 months it feels like the whole globe has changed completely. We started the whole race. It was Biden versus Trump. There is even a former podcast that we are talking about it, and you go, I'm pretty sure last moment they're gonna change it.
Called it.
And I was like, no.
I said they're gonna do the switch, and they did.
I thought they're gonna jack up Biden with some drugs.
Super steroids. I don't know.
So they were the two old guys racing. A pretty sad story. They did the first debate, and
it was a shit show.
Trump walked through him. He destroyed him.
He was even kind of nice, because Trump could have really piled on the guy, but he was more like, I don't know what he's saying. He probably doesn't know what he's saying. He was even slightly nice,
Yeah, and the problem was that the moments where they have filmed them, because if you remember, they show the two candidates parallel to each other as they're talking, while Biden was waiting for Trump to be finished with his time. It was like
terror face,
like lost.
Biden terror face.
Biden's not there. Frozen. Error 404.
It's crazy. They had the debate. It was a shit show. And then all the questions towards Biden started, because until then, and this is the part where the CNNs, the lefty news outlets, they knew they couldn't keep it anymore covered. So now they had to actually go on the attack. So until then, the CNNs, MSNBCs, they were sort of, it's okay. He stutters. He's not that bad. And in this time, they were, okay, people have picked up on the line. We need to pile on Biden as well and hit him with hard questions all the time. And they were relentless. And it was obvious that Biden was not really there.
No, he was not there. And the swap they had to do was very complicated, because when you get elected through the Democratic primaries, there is a problem with shifting the money you got for your campaign to somebody else. And that was the big argument for Kamala, Comrade Kamala, because she was part of the campaign, so she could access these donations. And they did these sort of fake primaries, which they were not even primaries.
No.
The great electors of the Democratic Party voted for Kamala. She was now the candidate. And once they swapped, I thought, okay, she might have a chance, because finally we have a person that's
coherent.
Not coherent, but it's a normal age. She's not fucking 78.
Can string a sentence together.
Can string a sentence together. Trump can string many sentences together too. And she was also pretty good at the beginning. She had this speech she did, I don't know, at some rally where she was, provoking Trump to do a debate with her.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, if you have to say something, instead of saying it anywhere else, say it to my face.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, now we have a legit candidate. They did the debate. She won
she did better. Yeah. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Trump went on a tirade like that, and it's and even Kamala was putting faces like, what are you? The thing about Kamala, and it sounds like I'm shitting on Kamala under anything, but even when Trump is saying crazy shit and she's putting faces, somehow you can see, like, she's thinking, oh, wait, the advisor told me when Trump says crazy shit, put a surprise face. Let me try my surprise face. And you can see the wheels turning. That's the problem with Kamala, that you don't see authenticity on her. And I'm not saying Trump is a nice guy in any way. I'm not saying, yay, Trump won. But there was a lacking element on Kamala, that there was a lack of authenticity. Like, what does this woman believe in? Everything is a very well crafted sentence that has been made by people in the background, who knows? And maybe that's part of the reason why she lost.
Conspiracy theories were saying she wore like a headphone in her ear that they suggest her like how
So
to come
somebody
back.
was telling her.
That's conspiracy theories.
Who knows? Let's assume no.
Yeah.
But before that election, before Kamala stepped in the place of Biden, something happened.
What happened?
Trump took a bullet to the face.
Oh, yeah. To the ear.
Yeah. Aimed at the face, let's say.
mean, you know, even liberals cannot do any good job, even killing the fucking Trump. They're so bad. Like, you had one task, like fucking shoot him in the head.
Dude,
they missed.
The whole thing is spooky. The whole thing. First of all, anybody who says it was staged, you're crazy. There's no way that this is
So
staged.
the only
bullets are flying to him.
Well, there was a guy killed. Like a guy in the crowd was killed.
Yeah.
So it's like not staged. Motherfucker was lucky as fuck. But also, bro, security services didn't check any shit.
The fuck? Yeah.
And after that, media just downplayed the whole thing. Like normally you would talk about this for months.
Yeah.
It disappeared completely. And I have to say, in this election, we saw how much less importance has traditional media, because they did the debate on traditional media. The moderators fact-checked Trump, which is legit, but they should have checked a couple of times also what Kamala was saying, because there was this point where she was saying, at this point in time, there are no troops in active war zones all around the world. That's American soldiers. And then there was these American soldiers that they filmed that part of the debate, and they filmed said, so where the fuck are we?
From fucking Syria or something like that.
So like she should have been fact-checked a couple of times.
Dude, sloped roof. Did you see the interview? I think it's a hearing, not an interview, to the Secret Service director, this woman which has like dead look on her eyes. It's like, I'm dead inside. And they asked her like about the Trump shooting. What the hell? What happened here? And she says that, oh, well, we didn't have officers in that roof because it's sloped. It's a tiny 2-degree, 3-degree slope that anybody could get on there. Generally, I'm really not into conspiracy theories. I think there's always an explanation for everything. But holy shit, this one is tricky. How the fuck do you explain this one? Is it just incompetence?
I think so. But there were also people like, giving signals about like people calling the police saying, we saw a guy walking around with a fucking rifle. So I don't know, but I didn't saw that lady's interview. I think my theory after that was like Trump was unlucky that got shot in the ear and not maybe in the shoulder or something, because would have been a much earlier win, easier win, because like there is a consequence, like you see the fucking guy being
bleeding,
not bleeding, but like after that also having some bandage and things like that. And with his ear, he had the patch for a very short
couple days. He got clipped.
Yeah. But his reaction won him the election, because the moment he realized that he got shot, he was filmed, he stopped Secret Service and turned into the camera and was like, fight.
Yeah, I gotta say, and we have a certain attire today, but it doesn't mean that I'm a huge Trump fan. But that day, I was like, bro, that's pretty cool, actually. Because you don't know if the shooting has ended. Like, we know now that the shooter was dead by then. So in hindsight, you know it, but in that moment, you don't know that. That's pretty ballsy, I gotta say.
In Florida, when I was in Florida, it was pretty funny because the last days there was the hurricane. You couldn't do much, so we spent a lot of times into like malls and stores, and we were checking some souvenirs. And the very last day, we went to this super nice area in Miami called Pier 5, where they sell these nice souvenirs. And they had merch, like Trump and Kamala merch. And there was a hat like just like this one, where there was like stitched the figure of Trump with the blood, and was saying fight, fight, fight.
With a fist, yeah.
And there was the Kamala cappy. I don't remember what it was.
Joy thing.
I don't remember even what it was. But the Kamala cappy was $28. That's the standard price for every cap. And the Trump cap was $40.
Oh.
And there was an Asian lady selling the stuff, and I was like, why it's so expensive? People buy the shit out of it, so like we don't have enough of those, so we sell them for more.
Demand.
So I was like, And there were people also walking around with Ultra MAGA. But I stayed in between Fort Lauderdale and Miami, where there are more liberals. So 50-50, like some people were telling me, oh, Trump, it's a fucking idiot. He went bankrupt a couple of times. I don't want him to be in charge of my money, blah, 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 blah. And other people were like, fuck Kamala. And I have to say, I've been in New York City before. I've been in, what is Philadelphia? I think it's Pennsylvania. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I've been to Baltimore and I've been to DC, which were more like Democratic states. And I've been now to one Republican state. I have to say, Florida is very clean, very nice, almost no homeless people, even less than here. I was like, it's kind of nice. Like, it's kind of like I would vote for fucking Trump.
It's not so bad.
And then they generated this all complete shit show because, when I arrived there were the consequences of Hurricane Helene, which hit Georgia pretty badly. And then there was Hurricane Milton, which hit Florida. So they started, as in everywhere in the world, making it a political discussion that the Democrats were not helping flooded areas only if they vote Democrat, like bullshit like this. So I didn't like that. That was a very pretty shit show. But I think that there is a lot of narrative on the media, how people are. In the moment of hurricane, even Ron DeSantis was pretty decent. He was everywhere on TV explaining to people what to do. They tried their best, but yeah.
This is the thing with the US, and I mean, the media have a field trip with this kind of thing, that it's a country with 330 million people. Many of them are nuts, but not all, obviously. But you're going to have cases of everything. So if you go look for a case of people being assholes, you will find many. And if you go looking for a case of people being cool, you're going to find also many. That's the thing about the US, that people sometimes here in Europe, they get it a bit wrong, that, oh, there was a crime event on this part of the US. Yeah, okay. But imagine you put together not just Germany. You have to put together Germany, France, Spain, the UK, Portugal, Italy, all of those, gather all the crime rates in all of those countries, and then you can start matching a little bit, not just one single country.
Yeah.
It's the thing. It's probably still lower than the US, I'm going to say this.
Well, certain crimes are lower, but...
Yeah, gun-related crimes, yeah, for sure. It's lower.
I have to say that Frankfurt lately has become a real shit show, but that's another topic. So the debate happened between Kamala and Trump. And after that, I was like, okay, from here on, I think she's going to make it. She's doing well. Of course, for us, it's just a perception. I always say it's the perception we receive from such a far distance because we don't live in the States and we don't know the daily life that they live and the effects that they have from politics. It's like if somebody asks you, how is the German government doing? We live in Germany, we know. Somebody who doesn't live in Germany, they hear news where you hear numbers. Like, I don't know, the economy is doing a lot of media were saying the American economy is doing great, they're growing, blah blah. But you don't know how these numbers are affecting actually the daily life of people. So this was the perception that she could win. But then I think we saw the difference of when a candidate earns the place to run versus the candidate who get put to run. Because Trump, I think, understood that he was like, fuck, we messed up. Also, they were playing very good propaganda against J.D. Vance because he was talking shit about people without children,
cat ladies,
abortion, blah, blah, blah. So Trump, he's a real maniac. He's like restless. He can just go. And he understood that he has to do something out of his comfort zone. And he started doing all the podcasts, long form, with everybody. And he started from some not like top tier podcasts, in my opinion, for his status. Like he went to
Theo Vaughn,
Schultz. Andrew Schultz. He was with those liberal Republican boys that always like show off how rich they are. Yeah. And there he played a very good card because they told him, like, look, we really would love you to go to Joe Rogan because that's the biggest podcast on the world. And he was like, I think I'm gonna do that one. I think we have it scheduled. And I don't think he had anything scheduled, but
through it.
He was like, we're gonna do that because he knows that the fans of Joe Rogan are the same fans of him. Because if you remember, a few weeks before, they had a little bit of a squabble where Joe Rogan endorsed your guy, RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr.
My traitor, you mean?
Your traitor. And so
I'll get more into that.
So Trump started talking shit on Truth, his social media, saying that people in the UFC should boo Joe Rogan. So it created this tension where Dana White, who's friend of both, was like, come on, guys, play it down. And so there was this thing going on. A few days later, Robert Kennedy Jr. endorsed Trump, which I thought about you saying you would vote for him. I was like, this is like voting for Trump. Like he's a fucking clearly a Trump guy.
More on that.
and then
I'm getting ready. Yeah.
He did. Trump did also the boring guy, Lex Friedman. You know, and I think Joe Rogan was in this position where, come on, he did all the podcasts. He will do this one.
Why do you call me boring, Georgie?
Because he's boring. And then he did the Joe Rogan Experience.
Now, obviously, when Trump reached to us about doing the podcast here, we understood that it mattered to him, but we thought, the logistics of him coming to the studio here, Secret Service, the house is not really ready for Trump, so we had to decline. Next time, Donald, I hope you can make it.
I can come to you in Florida. It's a very nice place, Donald. So we're coming in Mar-a-Lago.
Exactly.
Having a round of golfing.
All these emails we're getting from guests who want to be on the pod here, and in the end, we need to schedule it. That's the thing.
Yeah, we're pretty busy.
I can imagine people thinking, what the fuck are these guys talking about? Right
so how did you feel about your guy betraying you in the last moment, endorsing Trump?
Holy shit. My boy RFK. So I didn't like that he endorsed Trump. And it's not like a Trump-Kamala Republican Democrat thing. It's that, to me, the main message from RFK was, these two guys suck. I'm an alternative to these two guys that really suck. And then at the end, he joins one of the guys that he's saying they suck. Now, of course, he has an argument that he can do more influence from within the party, from within the cabinet. Yeah, I know. But your whole argument is, I'm the alternative to these two idiots who are completely corrupt and sold, and they are part of the political establishment. The Kennedy name has a certain weight. I don't know why, because one thing that the US is famous for is for throwing away the concept of royalty. So I don't like this whole, Kennedy name has value, but fuck that. The thing is this whole idea of the two candidates, they're not worth our time. Give me your vote. And I will be the alternative. So to me, that's a betrayal. The fact that then he joins one of them, that kind of sucks. But there's another thing. I checked the election numbers now, and around 670,000 people voted for him.
So it's pretty shitty
Because-
performance.
No, but I don't understand who the fuck voted for RFK since he dropped out. He dropped out of the
But
race.
no, he didn't drop out.
He
from
was
the race.
his name was in ballots, not in every state, but in many states.
Yeah.
His name was in the ballot. But anybody who would vote for him should know at least that this guy has joined Trump.
Yes, but
So
you can still vote for him, so you give him more influence.
is it like a protest vote?
No, it's
Or
like
is it-
no, it's like you vote for who you believe in, and he goes into the administration by saying there were 600,000 people voting for me. But for me, it was clear since the beginning that, like, for me, Joe Rogan, Tulsi Gabbard, him, they were like fucking fake liberals. Like, what are you talking about? You're like more Trumpist than Trump. And I'm happy that at least now everything is uncovered. I have to say, though, that Trump went out of his comfort zone. He did all these podcasts, came across sympathetic because they talked about a lot of things, came across how old is he, because like he was saying, I was friends with Muhammad Ali, and people were like, what
The fuck?
the fuck? That guy is dead, like, since a long time ago. And Kamala didn't do shit. She did the Shay
Call her daddy.
Shay Club. Call her daddy, I think.
And the Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club.
With
I don't
Charlemagne.
know. Yeah, okay, that's what she did. But she did always up to 1 hour interview, and then she didn't do Rogan. And I think Rogan with this move, he's back. Like, have you seen his numbers lately? His numbers were very low.
Rogan was declining, but this thing he has put him up because every politician in the US right now is going to think, I need to do Rogan if I want to get anywhere.
I think from now on, every politician has to do the podcast because the fucking traditional media, it's like done, and they're like super not legit at all.
By the way, a couple episodes ago, we said that the Rogan experience was declining. Not anymore, bro.
He's back. Joe, we love you.
Joe, look, what I said it. I was drunk. We're drinking here beers all the time. You think this is my first? Oh
We're going full Republican now on. We want to be populist.
I want to go bow hunting too. I want to shoot a deer.
Oh my God, I wake up in the morning getting my vitamins.
Yes, meat.
Eat elk meat.
I know, I'm from Spain. People think olive oil. No, I use animal fat for everything. Does he use animal fat for everything?
I don't know. But Joe, Bulgaria, it's amazing for hunting. If you want, we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna take you there. You can hunt as much as you want and stuff like this. Yeah, so he's back and he proved that traditional media is over because also I'm seeing what's happening after the election. There was Jimmy Kimmel crying on the air.
It's pathetic.
I'm so sorry for NATO and for Ukraine and for our life. Bro, we are not that sorry. Like, we are not sorry. We're rather worried. You should worry, not cry.
It's silly. Come on. One thing, I'm actually happy with this thing with the Trump win. We have finally proved, and we're done with this, I hope, that celebrity endorsements mean shit. The fact that Beyonce says, vote for Kamala, or Julia Roberts, I don't care, whoever, I don't know. The fact that Robert De Niro says, vote for Kamala. And I like all these people, like as a singer, I like Beyonce. As an actor, I like Robert De Niro. I'm very happy that it means shit, the fact that they are endorsing candidates here and there.
I have to say also the celebrities that endorsed Kamala, Beyonce and J-Lo are the worst celebrity to endorse you right now because there is the P. Diddy thing going on.
Yeah.
And you know the story about...
A little bit, baby oil.
Baby oil with like almost baby. Like
a lot of baby oil.
A lot of crappy shit going on. While I was in Miami, we even did a tour with a boat where they show you the villas of the most famous people, and we saw P Diddy's villa, and the guy was like some Latino guy who was like, "Adios, P Diddy."
Was it slippery?
We didn't step on the ground, but probably. So, anyways, so there was this, people saying like, "What the fuck, J Lo?" Everybody's saying that soon she's gonna be involved into the whole case of P Diddy. Beyonce and her husband, what the
Jay-Z.
fuck, Jay-Z, also gonna be involved. So I'm like, are these guys stupid? Like, are these guys stupid? So even Taylor Swift endorsed them and things like that. But other celebrities endorsed Trump, and a lot of the billionaires were for Trump. Big case. The Washington Post usually have always endorsed the Democratic candidate. This time, Bezos said like, "No, guys, you're not endorsing any shit." And then the next day, 200,000 people unsubscribed from the Washington Post.
Because they're liberals.
And he was like, "I said not to endorse anybody because the endorsement of a newspaper doesn't make any difference."
Yeah.
I mean, he's smart, dude. He's smart.
He's coward the way you see it. Any way you see it, it's a bit coward. But yeah.
I think Musk is the guy that likes to bet. Like he really, I read his biography. He really likes risks because he talks so much shit about the Democrats.
Yeah.
If they had lost, it would have been the end for him. They would have ripped him apart. And all the others stayed neutral. So I think it's a pretty smart move. If I was Jeff Bezos, I wouldn't endorse Kamala either, and I wouldn't let any of my companies endorse Kamala either. I wouldn't have endorsed anybody.
Yeah, he wants to play the soft game now because he has companies that depend on the government decisions, and so he's trying not to show one side or another. But his newspaper completely lost. I mean, I wonder his newspaper is probably not so much a tool where he wants to gain funds, money, whatever, but more a tool where he wants to put out a message of some kind. Probably. In that case, maybe he accepts this loss. And for him, $100 million is...
No, 200 million subscribers, but
I know,
no,
but
doesn't matter.
He lost 100 million. Doesn't give
Trump winning made him more money. So Trump won, and I didn't know this. I talked to a financial journalist on my other online presence platforms.
Subscribe to the online presence.
And this journalist explained to me, a very good-looking lady, by the way. She said, Trump, in his policies, wants to completely de-tax capital gains.
Yeah.
Which means if you buy stock, if you buy Bitcoin, he also wants to make America the country of Bitcoin. Any of those gains you make through cryptocurrencies, through whatever, no zero tax, zero taxation. So the moment he got elected, the next day, everything went up.
Bitcoin insane.
Big time. Do you have some Bitcoins?
I do. And
Nice.
I saw more than 20% increase in 6 days.
How much money did you make?
You know, it's kind of unpolite to say the number, but let's say I can put LED lights on my car.
How many numbers? In 2 numbers, 3 numbers, 4 numbers?
Oh, figures, you mean?
How many figures?
No, I would say 3 figures. Not
3 figures. Oh, pretty
but
good.
originally, I didn't put so much.
Pretty good, though.
I went
3 figures.
low risk. That's the thing.
We should talk
But the
finance
Bitcoin
on this
it's
podcast.
Like, yeah. Let's give financial advice. 2 morons who have no clue about financials.
No financial advice. Just discuss it.
After the pod, I'm going to kill him for putting me on the spot like this. Where's the knife?
Okay, so the stock market was doing pretty well. He wants to remove all federal tax and put on a lot of import taxes, tariffs, which a lot of people are talking shit like, do you know that if tariffs are imposed, the one that's gonna pay the tariffs are actually American companies and American consumers? And I'm like, yes, but the tax are put in place so all these motherfucking morons that went to produce everything in China, so we completely depend on China, now have an incentive to come back. And I think it's pretty smart. and the guy that deals with things this way, with the heavy-handed manner.
But what that's going to bring, it's going to bring pain in the short term. Who knows if in the long term it will bring gains, but pain in the short term. And that matters because in the end, a presidential candidacy, no, a term, sorry,
Term.
a presidential term is 4 years.
Mm.
So from the moment you implement a policy to the moment you see the positive results, there might be years in the middle until you see the results. So he might see during his presidency a lot of pain and people are going to hate him and prices and the whole thing. Or maybe in 8 years it would work out, but I don't know.
But it's his
Short
last
term,
term, bro.
It's his last term, so he gives two shits.
So he's gonna play the hardest ball he can.
I think so too. But for example, JD Vance is looking at the presidency like I could be there one day.
I don't think
so. Oh my God, for sure. His teeth are so sharp right now; they're coming out of his neck here. He's probably not now. He'll do his vice presidency when Trump's there. And
this is gonna be another of those moments where probably JD Vance gonna be president, being like, "Nah, not gonna happen."
So far, my prophecies have happened. Let's see.
So,
I don't know.
Another crazy thing that I've heard during this election, which I'm thinking, guys, like you're Americans, you do crazy ass innovation shit, and then you do also crazy ass dumb shit. We've discussed on this podcast the insanity of saying that abortion should be allowed. So I agree with Democrats on this thing. On the other hand, there are states, which are usually blue states, in which it's illegal to ask your ID or voter ID when you go vote.
I don't get it.
And I'm like, guys, are you fucking nuts? Like, we live in Germany, but we are not German citizens. We don't go vote for the government. We vote for the city because we are EU citizens, so we can become theoretically mayors of the city if we wanted to.
But never president.
But president... No, president, you cannot. For example, in Italy, you wouldn't be able to become president if you're not purely Italian, because the president, it's a figure that represents the national identity. So putting somebody that's called something different, like...
Yeah. But ID for voting, I don't get it, man, because... And liberals saying, oh, you're suppressing democracy because you want less people to vote. Guys, it's an ID. It's not that complicated.
And there are apps. There is an app, the government app for the refugees, because refugees actually get shipped by planes from different countries. They get people from... It's like... I thought it was fake, but it's not. Like, it's crazy-ass thing. So, in this sense, I think that's just insane. Just
the
insane.
ID thing, I don't get it either.
It's just, guys, like, you have done it because of these policies. You have done it so complicated for normal people that want to move to the US, so hard. Just set up rules that people can apply, and anybody who cannot get in doesn't get in. And I'm on this side also for the EU. I'm not against bringing in people from anywhere in the world, but set up a fucking embassy in the place where these motherfuckers live and make a rule that they have to go through application through your embassy, prove that they have no criminal record, who they are, how old they are, what kind of competence they have. And once they pass this test, let them in. But anybody else...
Legal versus illegal immigration.
No. And I talk as somebody who has had an immigration background when I was part of a country which was not allowed to move to certain countries. And I know the hassle through which my father had to go through to get papers. It's just normal.
That's one thing that I'm not sure if Democrats get it. And I think I would lean Democrat, but they think, oh, all immigrants are going to be against Trump because Trump is sort of against immigrants. They don't understand that every single legal Mexican immigrant does not want millions of Guatemalans getting inside. That's why it appeals a lot. And in fact, I think especially the male Latin American voter has voted for Trump this cycle.
I think it's. I think it's. I don't believe it's more for the vote frauds, maybe, but because they removed the ID. But I think it's just to lower the wages of people.
I truly don't know. How do they count? Like, if there's no ID, do they ask for driver's license? Do they ask for
I don't know. They should be.
picture?
No, usually
of
there
your
is.
face?
I don't know how it works in the States, but here in Europe, I don't know
ID.
how it works in Spain.
ID?
When you go, no, but you have to go to a certain, how do you say, voting
Yeah.
voting
School,
school or whatever you're assigned, and there is a list, and then you say who from the list you are, and they make you vote.
And you show your ID.
And you show
prove
your
that you're
ID.
this
And in
person.
California, for example, California is one of the states. Just go say I'm this motherfucker, and you vote. And they shouldn't be asking you. And I don't understand what is the problem of them asking you.
So they use probably the census. And through the census, they can at least cross people. Like
The lists, yeah.
And if, let's say, Joe Mitchell comes and votes, and then another guy says, I'm Joe Mitchell, I'm coming to vote, they say, no, Joe Mitchell has voted already.
But this is what
it's kind of weak, actually, because there's a lot of Joe Mitchells, for example, I'm sure. So I don't know if that's exactly how they do it, but I'm guessing it's through the census. Please, somebody write if that's the way it's done.
So if there is somebody from America watching to this, tell us how the process goes there. If there are lists of your voting section or something like that, I don't know. Here it's this way. But I'm think this is just nuts.
It is nuts. I think so too. And I wonder, okay, how much did Biden have an effect on this election? Biden was not a candidate anymore, but the shadow of having, let's say, doing a cover-up for Biden.
I think we forgot about Biden as
How
fast.
much? But did you think that had an impact? That people say, yeah, this Kamala, she knew about Biden and she didn't obviously say anything. And
You mean
she's,
about the
part of the cover-up?
voting fraud or what?
Not voting fraud, but more like the impact of people not trusting the Democrats for covering Biden's dementia.
I think the Democrats lost this time the same way they lost the first time because they're fucking idiots. Because if me and you are competing, and let's say you're supposed to be the bad guy, let's say Trump is the bad guy, and I am the good guy who has to play the good guy. If I say always that I'm so perfect and pure, the little impurity you find is going to be much bigger because they always put themselves like the
right choice.
The right choice, and we're for the future and for prosperity and for I don't know, diversity and blah blah blah. Meanwhile, guys, you're just there for power because you drop Biden super quickly and put anybody who was okay. You didn't do other primaries. We didn't discuss. You didn't reflect what is right, what is wrong. Then the candidate hid from all this media, didn't go out there to face any difficulties, no out of the comfort zone, went to all these friendly podcasts. The few interviews she done on Fox News, I think, or even
that was
on
good, actually, the Fox News.
I didn't watch that one, but she did also the one with CNN. Didn't go so well. She couldn't answer why didn't you do these things while you were now in office and you're gonna do them now. So I think just the Democrats are too much of snobs that they don't want to, lower themselves to the point where they go out of their comfort zone or face the other side. And yes, this time they send Obama all over the place, but Obama is not the candidate, so like he can perform as much as he wants. And as you said, the celebrities, you don't give a shit. Like if tomorrow some Spanish celebrity tells you who's gonna vote for, you couldn't care less. And most of the people couldn't care less. Actually, people usually like, shut the fuck up and do your thing because you have no clue about politics, you jerk. So like also, I think, like who cares who votes Taylor Swift?
Yeah, and the Obama thing, and I think Obama is one of the greatest political animals from the US. His political instincts were amazing, and he could put almost anybody to his own side. This time, he didn't do that well because it seemed that he was more preaching, like, you should do this because it's the right thing. Like, not these words, obviously, but this line of thinking, like, how could you vote for that guy and not this girl, like that? Instead of bringing people more together,
No, he
but
was.
reprimanding people. I felt a certain preaching, reprimanding people.
He was. In some occasions, he said this election shouldn't be closed, but it's gonna be closed because many people are hurt and suffering. But defining somebody as hurt and suffering and that's why they're voting for Trump means you're really snobby and you don't understand things. Meanwhile, Trump was insane in this campaign. He did so many viral things. First of all, there was the meme that the camera is panning away from him and then goes back and he's like doing like this. So people were sharing this thing all over the place. And then there was the final stage of the campaign was the most insane because they did a rally in the arena in New York, the Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And there was Tony Hinchcliffe, which I saw once performing live. He did a stand-up set where he talked shit about Puerto Rico and he called it a garbage island and things like this.
It was a joke.
So everybody on media went insane. Some Puerto Rican celebrities went insane. They were like, "Oh, are you talking shit about Puerto Rico?" No, okay. Yeah, I'm endorsing Kamala. Like what was called the guy that's super famous from Puerto Rico, Bad Bunny.
Yes.
He endorsed Kamala. He does the fucking things you Spanish speakers like what is it called? The genre, like
salsa guy?
not salsa. What is it called? Reggaeton.
Reggaeton.
Yeah.
Yes, that guy.
Anyways, so after that, Biden, guy's not there. He doesn't know what he's saying. They asked him what he thinks about it. And he said, the only garbage we have is the people who vote for Trump. So Republicans were like, oh,
Thank you, Biden.
you're offending half of the country, blah, blah, blah. So there is Trump who does this video with the garbage truck, with the garbage orange gelée, where he does this thing, and you see the whiteness around his mouth, which is so awkward. Everybody shares that image. He's just so good in media. The guy has been in media so long. I saw today he has been in the Willie the Prince of Bel-Air in some episodes, in cameos, and he was famous then. So he has been on set on movies.
Home Alone.
In Home Alone.
He's in Home Alone.
And he's been like doing the show, The Apprentice.
Yeah, that's the main.
Which generated the best meme because when there was a podcast with Joe Rogan, people were saying like, isn't it insane that the former host of Fear Factor and the former host of The Apprentice are now the one that are leading the most important political conversation in history.
That is insane, actually.
Yeah. So I think we're going towards idiocracy.
Idiocracy is becoming a thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it was a wild run.
Yeah. He gave this speech, Trump, where it was quite. I gotta say, it's kind of fun and cool because he's shitting on Kamala because, of course, he could win with a bit of grace. No, he has to win and rub it in like that. And he's like, Kamala, grossly incompetent. You're fired.
Kamala, you're fired. Just people love that line. Just love
but
that
you're
line.
fired is because of The Apprentice. Because he's lying in The Apprentice is you're fired.
Yeah, but they love the line. They love his catchy lines. He's so good. And I don't think that he's just a great marketing person that can sell you, I guess, anything. So he just does the whole stunt of a salesperson. He says how shit everything is, and then he tells you, I'm gonna solve it. The thing is that it's not shit at all. I've been there very recently. It's awesome. It's like people running air conditioning full blast, people riding their big fat cars.
As a German, we find that very, very unhealthy to the environment.
That was such a French accent. Yeah.
No.
So yeah, so and I think it was. I mean, for me, it was not clear until it happened. But this election, the outcomes again shows how much of a manipulation attempt there is from mainstream media, and saying that it's close, and pollsters were saying that it's not that close.
The posters were all saying it was so tight. It was almost a
no,
coin.
no.
Most
Many of
posters
them
saying
were
that.
before also a lot of the betting houses, because people bet on this thing, where like Trump was way ahead. So I was like,
follow the money.
yeah, but we'll see. Now he's elected, he's in there. There have been allegedly consequences already, because here in Germany the government will have a snatch election. Snap election, sorry. I think
it has to be related. There's no way it's not related. That one day after Trump wins, the finance minister leaks those documents, and the shit hits the fan here.
I don't know. The finance minister, I don't think he leaked the documents. He got fired because he was constantly disagreeing with the rest of the coalition. I saw the press conference of the chancellor, Olaf Scholz. The guy is as incompetent as Kamala. He's as incompetent as Kamala, and the guy has to go because...
And as charismatic as Kamala.
He's not bad. He has the same charisma for Germans as more or less Merkel. But the guy was saying in his press conference, the day this shit is going on, that the finance minister, Christian Lindner, it's outrageous that he's doing these political moves to save his ass in a day and age where we have events like Trump, post-pandemic, war in Ukraine, and Trump election. And I'm like, bro, you are comparing Trump being elected to major disasters, and you're gonna go work with that person, collaborate somehow? Are you fucking crazy? And of course, the main leader of the opposition of the CDU, Merz, today was saying this guy's a fucking idiot, because you cannot. And there are people saying this administration here was too much endorsing Kamala. And what the fuck are you guys doing?
You don't have loyalty to any of them. This is Germany. It's not the US. I understand over there, but not here. I have strong beliefs against the Greens. And the coalition in Germany is the SPD, the Greens. The SPD is like sort of, for the US would be socialist. For here, it's like center socialist, but more center, I would say. The Greens and this liberal party called the Free Democracy Party. And the Greens are, to me, the worst.
I predict. I voted Greens the last time because I was believing in their movement. But then I voted,
and that's exactly.
But look at my voting history. I'm the most switching person. I voted Greens. Then I voted the party of the financial minister. Who knows? Maybe in 3 years I'm AFD. Like, fucking, let's make Germany great again.
For the American viewers, the AFD is like the hardcore patriotic Germany first party.
Yeah, they're kind of the successors of that party.
Yes, there was this guy a few years ago with...
He was Austrian, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. The guy from the shenanigans there. And they are, I'm getting ready to get stabbed. They are kind of moronic, to be honest. But
I don't know. Yeah. I think the CDU is going to win.
The Greens are even more moronic.
I think the Greens are going to perform pretty bad. I think everybody hates the Greens now because they're fucking idiots. And this is my thing. I believe that if people from the right would pursue the goals of the left, they would be successful. The thing is that the people from the left are so incompetent always that they have no clue how to achieve their goals. And these guys went out and said, we cannot stop paying, I don't know, high salaries to the Volkswagen people because just like that. we want to give subsidies for green energy. We want to give help to Ukraine. We want to give money for defense. I'm like, bro, it's like in every family, we have that much money. So we have to prioritize. Where are we going to save from? What are you talking about? Here, inflation is going wild. The economical situation in Germany has gotten so much worse in such a quick time
Yeah.
that I'm so happy this guy's going. Like, I don't care who comes, but this guy's a disaster.
And they're also saying that they're going to subsidize the Volkswagen Group to give them a bit more cash to save them, pretty much. And I'm kind of against this crap because I'm believing the market in this
Yeah,
case.
me too.
Let them make good cars, better cars, because they used to make good cars and they can. They have the know-how. So make the fucking good cars and beat everyone else.
Yes. Dude, like now it's so expensive to fly from Germany anywhere in Europe because they are forced to refill the planes with some organic fuel or shit like that. Meanwhile, our friend Taylor Swift flies everywhere with a fucking private jet.
When she wants to get a coffee, she flies for the coffee.
Yeah,
machine.
yeah.
Meanwhile, we have now our airplanes are fueled with gay juice, and they just don't fly the same. There's also a tariff to make flying a bit more expensive here in Germany, to de-incentivize flying because CO2, because the Greens suck.
If this things goes on and on, I'm definitely leaving Germany because for me there is no sense. Like the point of living in Germany is that you get a higher salary and you get more money, and as soon as you have free time, you leave this country because it sucks. So what's the point of living in Germany if it's gonna suck and you're gonna have enough money to like have fun somewhere else?
Exactly. To my Españita or them. Now let's give Germany a chance.
Let's see.
I'm into giving Germany a chance.
Um,
We will get over it.
we'll get over it. But
Yeah.
we definitely America is gonna be great again.
I mean, it's sometimes it's a bit. You think, oh my god, the Americans, they're kind of pretentious. They're thinking, oh, America number one, but there's an election there, and the ripple effect hits here, and the government collapses. It's hard to argue now with the statement that they're number one. It's not.
They're number one.
They
When
are.
I was there, I was like, yeah, you guys are number one. Also, the amount of money you can generate if you work there, and I don't know. I'm all for this marketing, and here we are too much of a sissy. I think we love our social system and not going out of the comfort zone. But I think that's a
Let me throw a rock against the Americans and Trump as well.
huh?
I'll throw a little rock against the Americans and Trump. The concept of legalized corruption, lobbying, and this has created huge mistrust from the American people to the government. Now, Trump runs a bit on the whole slogan that he's going to drain the swamp, he's going to clean up this corruption. But we all know that's nonsense. He is part of that group, he's part of the club. And that is kind of shitty. How do they fix that? I don't think they can. Or do they fix it? Or because
We'll
this
see.
problem grows, it gets bigger with time. It doesn't get smaller.
We will see in his policies. I think that he will be very. He will trade with everybody and he will like have some deals with everybody. I just think that it's gonna be a mess for Europe because there's so many years behind us in which Europe just lived on the back of the US in the sense of military,
Militarily, not anything else.
but also trades. Now we have to do some concession. And I think that I wanted to talk about this. I have thought lately how I would deal with Trump. What are some things that we can give him to, make him happy and have a bigger collaboration? And I would say, dude, like we want electric vehicles and we don't want them from China. And I'm seeing that more and more brands from the US are coming in the European market because until now we haven't bought US vehicles in Europe because they're too big for us and they're too big in the sense also of engine. We don't have gas here, we don't have oil. So for us it's nonsense to drive their cars.
The big pickups, yeah, no way.
But EVs completely different story. And I'm seeing that more and more brands are coming in the European market, so we can handle the situation with the vehicles a lot, because he's been constantly complaining that there are a lot of German cars in the US but not American cars in Europe. So we're like, no, we can change this thing. Also because the electric cars Europe is making are crap, or they're too expensive.
Yeah, they're not great.
So that's one thing. And then we're gonna be like, bro, sure, we're gonna spend more on defense, Lockheed Martin, all this stuff. We want to buy a lot of things. And that's some stuff that we can trade.
So your EV plan, I kind of like it, and I think it could work out in Europe. The big pickups, I'm sorry, but big Chevys, big Ford Raptors, I don't think they can make it in Europe.
No, I'm not saying those. Those are dying.
The Teslas or others there.
But there are many brands that are not Tesla from the US.
The military spending, I'm just always, this is the hippie now inside me. Isn't there another way than the military? And I come from a military family. It's not like I hate the military now, but isn't there another way, any other way to make money, which is not making bombs and guns and tanks and such?
Well,
Plus, women could
yes, but that sometimes you cannot decide, you know? And also, we have seen now in this political situation on the global scale that you need a military to project power, to have moments where you go to somebody and you go, you motherfucker, you better shut the fuck up, because we're gonna blow the shit out of you. And I know that it's not nice, but
and it's not working so far when it comes to the neighbor.
When it comes, yeah, our neighbor, our neighbor is not like very friendly one. He drinks a lot. He doesn't mow his lawn.
Our Russian neighbor, he's not doing terribly, and
we have to say
prediction. Prediction.
Prediction.
I don't know, and a dim one. Zelensky gets asylum in the U.S. in the next few months. I don't know how many, and they finish up the deal there. They carve out a bit of Ukraine for the Ruskies. And Zelensky has to go live in the
US. Know that from then on, it's going to be a mess. Because, I mean, I think that at this point, this is the solution. But people have to know that this is not going to be the cheap solution. Definitely not for Europe. Because if you freeze the front line, you have to arm to the teeth the Ukrainians. So you have to constantly pour money into this defensive system, because it's the same situation between North Korea and South Korea. Like South Korea has military service for everybody. They have constant upgrade of their military hardware. So can be a solution if we say we're gonna stop like killing each other, but it's officially the beginning of the new Cold War, because countries like Poland, all the countries on the Baltics, Finland, all the people that are next to the border with Russia, they are already like...
They're freaking out already.
They're not freaking out. They started since the beginning of this war buying. Like Poland is like going around the world and be like, we want a lot of thousands of tanks from the Abrams, from the South Koreans. We're gonna buy F-35s. Romania has bought F-35s.
Why not Eurofighters? God damn it! Buy national product.
I know why. It's quick. So, but Trump has to know that also if he pulls it too much on the European Union, he's gonna just detach them from the US, and at some point, if they're smart, they should. They should start now pouring money into European programs for defense, where we do our own planes, where we do our own bombs. And then we say like, okay, US, like from now on, shut the fuck up, because you wanted to be great again. You wanted to do your own shit. So now you do your own shit and leave us alone.
Which is why this thing with JD Vance that we started saying that he was threatening. If we put problems to X, they're going to pull out of NATO. Never in a million years.
The thing is that they're very...
I don't know.
No, you know what is it? There is one thing that JD Vance can do, which is very easy. They're one, we're many. So if they create a divisive atmosphere between all the members of the EU, they can do a lot of bilateral agreements after all. So you say like, oh, okay, fuck you, EU, and then they start fucking up each country by itself. It's super easy because you go to Italy and say, oh, Italy, from now on, your pasta and your stuff you're importing, tax. And Italy will be like, oh, well, what about we agree your social media in our beautiful country? And then, and this is how they're going to do it. And that's the problem in the EU, that
I
we
thought
are
it would
not
be more
like,
like, oh, Italy, the French say that your wine sucks. Ma che, well, and that's how they make a rift between the...
that's very easy strategy. So yeah, this is how it's going to run down. I think this is my prediction for now.
I am overall hopeful of the future. Because all of these leaders, all of these external powers, let's call it, they don't want to fucking die. They don't want to wreck the world. Sure, they want to get wealthy. They want to expand their projection of power. But they want the best for themselves. But they probably understand that in a way, the best for everybody is also the best for themselves. With certain limits. They don't want everybody to be super successful here. But they know that this is a shit show. It has an effect on them.
I think it's a different situation. It's more like, have you ever gotten in a fight with your girlfriend where you start a fight from something very small, it grows, and after a while it's such a mess, and you think, why did we start this whole fight over this? Now it's and I think this is what is happening in the world right now. They don't want it to start the fight, but they first started arguing about why you drink milk from the box, and then you told your girlfriend, why didn't she do this other thing, and then it exploded, and now it's like, okay, like it's, you cannot put it back in. The genie is out of the lamp. So I don't know, we have had 2 world wars for this exact situation. So I don't know, like I'm not in panic of all the people that are crying on TV and being
please.
like, oh my God, Trump.
Grow
Because
up.
give it a break. Like certain policies would have affected even Democrats, even if they had won. Just we're going to get the harder line of those policies directly from the origin. Also because Trump was saying it all over the place. He's like, I'm going to send Kamala a MAGA hat because she's doing so many of my shit. But he said first day he will stop the war on Ukraine. It hasn't stopped yet. So he's already... we can start counting the bullshit he said.
He can always say that first day of his term. That's in January, not now. So he has a month now to play
He
all
said...
this thing. I know he didn't say that. But
he said more or less the first day I got elected, the next day. But they're going to meet on Wednesday with Biden's going to be a funny situation.
Yeah, something like
so-
that. Yeah.
Do we have any more points?
I think we can close it for today.
We're back, and we hope to be
We're back.
more often back.
We're doing more stuff.
More stuff.
More stuff is coming.
There will be a... Thank you, Donald, for creating a lot of content inspiration for us.
The memes are going to be epic. And like we said, Donald, in that call, the chair here will fit very well, and we can...
Oh, now he doesn't need it anymore. But anybody of your family who want to run in 4 years, it's very welcome. Ivanka, we won't grab you by the...
Holy shit. You wanted to close it like that?
So everybody who enjoyed our podcast, we will be back. Like the podcast as usual for the algorithm. It's a big help for us. It's something super easy to do. 1 click, thumbs up. Hit that fucking subscribe button, so we're gonna push, and the truth can reach more people through the algorithms. And yeah, support the podcast, share it with your friends, with your family.
And we're back.
Cheers, guys.